prices of renting accommodation in the UK is now becoming ridiculous. Honestly, for the last couple of weeks, I've been involved in, trying to like help people get accommodation. Those who are struggling to, get a place to, move to. We're like really working around to help in that regard. And looking at how much it costs to rent one bedroom, two bedroom houses in the UK is becoming alarming. Now, look at this particular, uh, one bedroom house in London is going for 2,500. That's 2,500. Another one in the same London is going for 2,800. And we decided, okay, let's move a bit up north so we can see how much we can get some houses somewhere in Manchester. Now, in Manchester, we're able to see a two bedroom house for £1,395 per month. We went further again in the same Manchester, we're seeing another house for £1,650 per month. That's a lot on accommodation, to be honest, compared to what the price of houses has been in the last couple of years here in the UK. There's a massive spike in the amount people need to pay to be able to rent, accommodation. So that's why this is I'm going to be talking through about how to navigate through this whole UK housing crisis and ensuring that as immigrants, you're not spending your total salary on rentals or you're not spending practically your earning on your living cost. So if you're an immigrant in the UK or you're a resident in the UK and you're struggling with the cost of renting and accommodation in the UK, then you sure don't want to stick to this video till the end. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do well to hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family and my channel subscribers. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before I get right into the video, I'd like to give a special shout out to the sponsor of this video, Seamless Pay App. Now, are you currently resident in the UK? It's salary week and you're looking at sending money to Nigeria? You sure do want to check out Seamless Pay App. Now, with Seamless Pay App, you get to send money from the UK to Nigeria at a zero transfer fee. And you also get to enjoy the best exchange rates on Seamless Pay App. So what do you need to do? Go on Apple Store or Google Play Store to download Seamless app. Open an account using my referral code JSULOBA, and you can also invite your friends to join Seamless Pay app, and you also get a £10 reward for your referrals. How interesting is that? So if you're looking at sending money to Nigeria, then definitely Seamless Pay app is your go-to app. So just go on Apple Store, go on Google Play Store, get the app downloaded, and start your money transfer to Nigeria without any hassle. Trust me, guys, getting your Seamless Pay app, I enjoyed one of the best transfer process using Seamless Pay app. It's seamless, easy to use, and easy to navigate. Now, looking at statistics released, we can see a massive spike in the change in average rents here in the United Kingdom. And as you can see, this particular analysis was based on the different countries within the United Kingdom. And you can see that more spike has been experienced in Northern Ireland, followed by Wales, down to Scotland and England. So it just tells you how much increase it is to be able to get an accommodation to rent here in the United Kingdom. And this is not just going into rentals only. Even for those who are looking at buying a house, it's becoming even more expensive. The deposit required to get a house now is really on the high. So yeah, that's just the reality of things at the moment. And just for context, I decided to like do a little bit of digging, to see how significant this increase is. So I went back to the city I studied. And for those who have been following my channel for a while, I did my master's program at the University of Sunderland, and I could remember what the rental market was in 2021 while I was in uni. And I started to go back and do a little bit of statistics. Okay, what has changed in the last couple of years? So I went back to Sunderland and I checked out one of the accommodation. This was the street I was living as at that time, and the rental for a one bedroom house in Sunderland, as you can see on the screen, is now £625 per month. Guys, I'm not capping. The same street in 2021, we get a one bedroom house in that same city for about 200 to £20 per month. Yeah, I'm not joking here. I'm very much serious. Now, seeing that the same street, the same kind of accommodation, the same houses, 3 years down the line now cost over £600 per month is really, really alarming and so sad, because it means that it becomes more expensive, and the changes in one's earning capacity in 2021 and 2024 has not significantly increased. So it means that the kind of money we make then is what we're still making now, a little bit more, but not as high as 3 times what we were earning at that time. And it's really a thing for, especially for immigrants, to be able to find a way to navigate your living expenses to make sure that you still have enough, savings at the end of, sorting out those bills, which is really important. And I was having a chat with a friend yesterday, and we are talking about rentals. He was just telling me how much he was paying, and mind you, this friend of mine, we live in the same city, and I think he lives about 8 minutes away from where I live, and we were having a chat about rentals, and he told me how much he was paying you know, um, for his two-bedroom house here in the city that we live in. And when he told me, I was surprised because the amount he's paying on his two-bedroom house is about £150 more than what I'm paying on my mortgage on a monthly basis, which is really ridiculous, to be honest. But yeah, that's just the reality of things. People are paying a whole lot more for rentals, and they could have been able to, save a little more on paying on mortgage, and at the same time still build equity on the property. Now, I'm going to give you so many instances on this, especially for immigrants. And I understand I understand clearly that different people have different situations. And I tell people, if you can afford it, if you have the right immigration status in the UK, it just makes sense for you to get a mortgage instead of paying rent on a monthly basis. Because paying rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage, you're not gaining any equity on the house. You're just paying for the house you're living in, and that's it. When it's time for you to leave, you leave without nothing. But with mortgage, if when you pay your mortgage and you decide that, oh, I'm no longer interested in this house, selling the house, you're still going to get some equity off the house, which is going to be yours. So I tell people, if you can afford it, if you have the right immigration status, it makes sense to get a mortgage. And as I said earlier, I understand everyone has their situation. I know people who can afford a mortgage, but because of the uncertainty of their immigration status, it doesn't make sense to like invest in mortgage. So this advice might not be for you if you're in that situation. But if you are on a skilled worker visa, you have a full-time job, your wife has a full-time job, I see no reason why you should still stick to rentals. Yeah, I know, even if you have, if you're in that particular situation, the cash also for deposit might also be a challenge. And I think it makes sense for people who are, cash strapped, or you find it difficult to save enough money because of your living expenses, if possible, to move to a cheaper city or a downgrade. Now, I watched a video about the lady a couple of months ago that used to live in London, like central London, and when it was, I think she was living in a three-bedroom house with her family, and when it was time for them to like save up to buy a house, they find it difficult too because of the cost of living and all. So what she did was that she moved her family, herself, her husband, and the kids to, I think, from a four-bedroom house in central London, I think, to a two-bedroom house outside London, and they were there for like 2 years, and they had about, according to her, they had about 50% cut in their living expenses per month, and they were able to save up enough money for a deposit, and they went back to buying a house in London. You get what I mean? So I think it just makes sense if you can. Some people can't because of the proximity to work and a lot of factors around, not being able to like move. But if you can move to a different city, I think it makes sense to move to a cheaper city and have enough money to save up to buy a house. And then if you want to move out to the city you used to live in, that's fine. So far you're able to like afford, you meet the affordability for the house in that city. It just makes sense. You get what I mean? So I think people need to like, you know, um, practice some level of delayed gratification just to get to where you want to. You get what I mean? Because when you get on a mortgage, it's like an investment. You're still living in the house, but you're building up equity in that house. Yeah, and some people tell you, oh, but you're going to pay for the house for the next 30 years. Now, what people don't understand is that, even though you've got a mortgage for a 30 years period, of course you're paying interest, you're paying principal on the property. If you decide after 10 years that, oh, you want to move to a bigger house, or oh, I'm no longer interested in that house, you're selling the house and you're getting some amount of money off the house as your equity compared to rent. So if you don't get a mortgage, you will rent. So because you need to live somewhere, and if you decide to rent for the next 10 years, you're not getting anything after that 10 years. So you're just paying for renting the accommodation, and that's it. So it just makes sense if you can afford it to just go on mortgage and build that equity on that property. I know there's a lot. I know, especially depending on the city you're living in. If you're moving to places like Manchester, getting a three-bedroom house, detached house, you might be looking around 300 to 350. So it means that if you're going to put in a 10% deposit, that's about 35 grand, which is a lot. And if you're paying so much on rentals, you might not be able to save up enough money to be able to afford the mortgage. You get what I mean? Because trust me, getting a mortgage in the UK is not joke. It's no beans. It's a whole lot of money. But yeah, it just makes sense if you can afford it to go for it instead of constantly renting and paying a lot of money to your landlord without you gaining any form of equity. So yeah, for those who are coming across my channel for the first time, I recently bought a house and I have a little bit of knowledge about how to get into your mortgage process. If you have any question around that, go to the description of this video and click on the link for my one-to-one session. We can jump on a call to get all the questions you might have answered around getting your first mortgage in the United Kingdom. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button. My returning subscribers, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll sure to see you guys in my next video. Thank you.